is the Irish dataset. And what we aim to achieve with this is to build explainable AI dashboard. Now, the Irish dataset, like it's not a new dataset. We have been using it. I think it's one of the most popular dataset that is used in data science AI project because of the fact it's quite simple. It's not really large, so it could fit in your computers. Also, it has fewer features, which makes it quite interesting for the users to be able to relate. So, like I always say, the best thing we do is to first of all load the package that we need. So once we load the package, the next phase we need to do is to because we really want to save the model, so we need to create a directory where we need to save the model inside. So the directory we are creating in this case is in our desktop, and we are calling the directory Explainer Irish app. And what we want to do is to save them, the models we've trained, in a particular subfolder called models. So that's what this command here is doing. So the moment we run it, now remember the Irish dataset, it's an Scikit-learn dataset. So it means it's already in the Scikit-learn package. You could just load them. So once you have your Scikit-learn, you could always call the Irish dataset. So you just load them, load.irish. Then remember, we need to make it in a data frame. So which is what we are doing in this line. And then the target variable, which is the Y variable, remember, we also need to make sure we put it in that format. Now, if you know, the Irish has the petal, the sepal, and all that. So there are kind of three species we're looking at. So the sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width. So quite very interesting data set. So again, like I used to say, we need to look at the data in a brief to see how does the data looks like. The next thing we can also do, check the distribution. So it's not a binary class. It's a sort of a multi-class. It has three classes. So meaning we have to look at these three classes and make our prediction. But interestingly, we don't have issues around imbalanced data set. We have a balanced data set across the three classes. They are all 50-50-50. So the next thing, like I said, we need to check for multicollinearity just to have a view of what's happening. So once you run this, you could be able to see if there is anything that's happening. And like I said, you could always see the yellow means there is a lot of multicollinearity happening. And we could actually see a bit of that around the petal length and petal width. But again, if it's not the focus of the project, then you don't need to remove it or something. However, there is an interesting thing I noticed in this data set and in this visualization, and I'm going to show you shortly. And a very interesting thing I noticed about the heat map we just got, there is a misalignment. You can see the sepal length is here. You know, this is not a good practice. So you need to make sure, you know, they are properly aligned. So in order to do that, we need to come to this rotation because the issue is coming from the rotation when we rotate it. So once we rotate it, we needed to add another function. We need to add another command called right. So it should align it to the right. So that way we wouldn't have this issue. Good. So now you can see it's properly agreed with this label. You see, so always take notes of the visuals you produce. Whenever you produce them, try to check for all these little things. Although most times nobody will talk to you, but again, some people are perfectionists. They pick up these things and use it to judge you. So always look out for some of these little things. So again, the next thing we do is to split the data set into 20% training and 80% training, 20% testing. And in this case, we are focusing on two models, logistic regression and random forest. Those are the two models that we are training. And in this case, we are not really bothering ourselves to do any sort of model tuning because this data set is very, very simple. And so we don't need to do that. So we need to just go straight to the model evaluation. And again, if you notice, part of the thing we skipped is the scaling of the data set. We didn't care to scale. And again, when you looked at it, almost all the data, they have the same range. Even though, but again, the nature of the model we are using, random forest, most of the time, I don't think we need to do that. And logistic regression too can still handle that also, even if we don't scale. But again, it's a good practice to always scale. So don't ignore it. However, we could see a perfect score for the accuracy. We have all of them, we are having 100%. But like I used to say, in real life, you may not have that. So, we take. So the next thing, this is just for illustration, okay? So now we have gotten the best model we want. We need to save it now in the directory we have created in the desktop. So now once you run this command, we tell it to save the best model. If you looked at random forest and logistic regression, if random forest is the best, then you should save it using the Joblib. So we use the Joblib in this case, not the Pico. So again, we've saved that. But even if you use the Pico, it's still fine. It's not a problem. So now let's look for the app, the folder we have created. So now we created a folder called explainer Irish, so which is here. And remember I said we asked it to save. So if you go back to the initial command we have, we asked it to save the model in a subfolder called model. So it has created a subdirectory called model, which is here, and then we've saved it there. So this is now the model we've trained. We see now this model is 183. I don't know if we could be able to open it, but because probably we could use a notepad or something to see. Now, can you see it's in machine learning readable form? Can you not see how it's saved? You see how it looks. Can you see? So this is what I mean that by saying when you serialize it, it's readable machine learning formats that are quite difficult for us, to understand from some kind of languages like this. So most of the time, that's how they will come out. So again, now having done that, we need to put everything in a Python script. We need to create a Python script. And the Python script, in this case, we need to create is using our Streamlit command to create it. So now let's go. I've already created this Python script. Of course, I don't want to start building this from scratch. So what we do is we've trained the model. We have done all we have already saved the model, but now we need to load the model and we need to relate the model in such a way that every other person could understand. Now, remember the first thing we talk about, you import Streamlit as ST, and then we talk about pandas, we talk about NumPy, we talk about Joblib. We also talk about the path where you dumped the files. And then I want it, because we are talking about model explanation, that's explainable AI. So we need to put things like sharp or line. So in this case, we are using line. So we use line. And then we also want to make some nice visuals, which is matplotlib and Seaborn. And remember, we have seen that it actually supports it. So the first thing you need to do is to set up the page setup. Now, in the page setup, you need to say st.set page configuration. It should carry basically the title of the app. So the title is Irish Explainable AI App, and we want the layout to be wide. So these are what we just tell it to do. The next thing we need to do is to load the data set. that we are using, you know, as a sample, because we are, you know, this is more like a sample in this case. Because when we want to make prediction, we are not, remember we said avoid retraining the model. So you cannot retrain it. It doesn't make sense when you are now deployed to be retraining it in real time. If you have to retrain it, you have to go offline, do it, and then you deploy again. So the loading of the data is just for example. We want to show the people that will use the app how the data should look like. So you Irish load Iris, and then you know convert it to data frame, and also all what we did in the first place here. If you remember here, which is what we did here. So you know we practically just we do the same thing here, which is what we have here. Then we need to call the directory. We need to now load the module from the path where we put it. Now, because we may likely deploy this model, so we don't have to specify that it is in the desktop, because when you deploy it in that desktop environment, it won't know if it's there or not. So it makes sense if we put the path so that even if you put it in cloud, it will always go and fetch it from the directory where the models, where the model is saved. And the model is saved inside a folder called model. So that's what we used here to load the model. And if not model part exists frame. Now, this script here, I need to write the script. I just used generative AI to do that because already I have done the model training. So I just tell generative AI, I write a prompt and said, I have done this training. This is my script. So I give it the Python script I have already trained. And then I tell it and say, I need you to write this script in a Streamlit format for me. So it gets to write it in a Streamlit format. And then we go this back and forth tweaking to make sure it formats the way I like. Then after that, I copied it. So let's see if we could. We mustn't have to reorganize this. So let's go back to what I mean by saying I give it to generative AI. So coming here, let's go to ChatGPT, for example. Now let's look at ChatGPT here. So I would okay. I think I've exhausted my credits for the 4G. So let me open Google Copilot. Sorry, here, where are we? Google Copilot. Okay, no, sorry. GitHub Copilot should be here. Okay, great. So this is GitHub Copilot. It's nice. I could use it, but I have to copy everything, and I don't think I can only attach files from my repository. So it's not a good one to use. So let me just go to Grok. Yeah. So let's go to Grok, for example. Now, what's the name of this file? Now, again, before you do this, you have to make sure you look at all the privacy concerns, okay? If you are dealing with a highly sensitive private information, don't share it on this file. So don't share it. I'm just giving you an example of this because this is something that it's already there. So I can share it and all that. But if you're dealing with a privacy thing, do not share it. Be very, very careful. Make sure you respect the consent of the people. So don't share private information on these platforms. Okay, so yeah, let's come to the Irish dataset I've trained. So you could copy the code, take that pane to copy the code into these platforms. Let's see Google Copilot, for example. So because this is Jupyter Notebook, so I wouldn't. There are other examples. I don't want to share everything. So let's just copy the ones we have for this task. I could place it. So I need you're supposed to save it as a script, okay? And then you could just pick the script part of it. And I don't need all those visuals. For example, you have done this. You could paste this part also. And you also beware of the word counts and all that. So let's say anyway, let me just write the prompt. So the prompt will be, I have trained random forest models for Irish dataset. I need you to write Streamlit Python script for me for the model deployment phase. I want it to have prediction phase, post model explanation phase, using line. So let's see what happens here. Good. So you could actually see that it has generated the script for you. So this has saved you lots of time to do that. Okay, so you could also see it has created the futures for you. You have loaded that. So let's see. So yes, it has created the page where you could be able to do that, and then how you could load it. So let's say the is running in a folder called let's see, the name of the folder is explainer Irish here, and the saved model is in a subfolder, the explainer called models. And then let's see what's the saved model name. So let's say the saved model name is this. So I could just copy it, the Joblib, remember? So oh no, we're here. So you could so the save model name, which is this one here, I could just put the Joblib. So update the script for me. Update the script for me. So next you run this. Good. So now it has updated the script for you. And it has also it has done this for you. So what this OS means, of import operating system, means that it's going to check the path where it is, and it will pick it, and then it will load it. So it has done that for you. So now you see it has created it for you. So good. So what I'm going to do now is you can download it here. You download the code, which is already in this format. So you go to your download. here is it in your download. So I want to call, yeah, I think the nature of what it calls is fine. So let's pick the file from the folder. You can press cut. Go back to the model where now it's here. So I'm going to paste it here. Control V. So now the model is saved here. So if I want to view this code, I will open it with Atom. So the Atom is for me, I'm using Windows for this, but if I'm using my MacBook, I could use another different code viewer to do that. So, but the Atom do well for me, but you could use other viewers to do that. So it doesn't have to be the same thing. So this is it. So you have created the script within just few seconds. You don't have to write all these things again. You don't have to do the stress. The generative AI have helped you to do that. So you could see it has created the scripts for us and how it looks like. You can see we've done that in just a couple of minutes. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to run this app locally before we do the deployment. So now let's open the CMD. So once you are here, you open the CMD. So once you open the CMD, the next thing you do, you type Streamlit, then run. Now, this is the name of the app. So you highlight the name, copy that, and then once you come to this, you paste it, .py, then you click enter. So we will see if it's going to run effectively or we're going to have errors. We debug, we debug, we continue to go back and forth until once we are okay, then we can be able to host it on cloud. So let's see if we're okay. Okay, so it has run successfully. So now you can see it has run very well for us. But then I'm not okay with it. I want to do some changes. I want to do some modifications. And so what I want to do, I needed to tell it, for example, I want the users to be able to see some EDA before the prediction. So I will go back to the Google the GitHub Copilot, which I use, which you use for the coding. I'll say please update the script for me to also perform some EDA visuals such as heat map and route to the prediction phase. When we come to prompt engineering, I'll also teach you guys how to do prompts, so you make sure the prompt is very, very clear. So you know how you know. Let's see how it goes. We'll get to those phases, but these are exciting times. Okay, so you can see like this is like one of the best moments right now. I was telling my brother some days back that you don't really understand the times we are living in. We are living in one of the most exciting time in human history. Like I could do crazy. You just I'll show you guys a lot. There are lots of things in there. Let me just stop you guys. All right, so you could see it has added another phase for me, to be able to do the EDA and all that. So let's say I'm okay with what it has done. So now I wouldn't want to download again. Just copy the code, come to the Atom where you've already opened the script here. So let's say I needed to make that changes because it gave me everything. So I'll just copy paste everything and save. So once I save, I'll go through it to see am I okay with some of the things that it has done. So the next thing I'm going to rerun and see if I'm okay with it. Good. So now you see it has updated the script for me. It has made visuals for me. Can you now see all this done just few clicks. Can you see? Can you see some of the exciting things we have done? So the next phase that we want to do is to make predictions. So you click on the prediction phase now. So let's say we want to make predictions on this, where we increase this to any format we want. So now let's try the prediction and see what happens in the prediction phase. So exciting times, exciting times, exciting times. You know, you could do lots of crazy things with some of the things out there. Okay, so the next thing is to run for prediction. So it makes that when you have a new data available, this is what it's going to do for you. It's going to make prediction and return the probability for you. So with that, you can be able to choose between if it's so the predicted, especially here, is vast color, and the vast color seems to be high. All the other ones, you could see the prediction probability was quite small. So let's look at the line explanation. So explain to me with line. So we want to see what are the features that makes it to say it's supposed to be vascular and not all the other ones other way around. So you could see the reason why it should be vascular are much more than first because of the petal length, which is 3.9. The petal width was 1.10. Then there is also the sepal length of 5.0, 5.1 and all that. So it explains to you with reason why it should be vascular and not the other way around. So with this, you could see, you know, this is quite interesting. This is quite interesting. So again, I'm not comfortable with random forest plus line. So I just want to update it. So I needed it to give it a very interesting name. So let me say I want to call the app an Irish Explainer app. Maybe that's what I really want to call it. So you just copy it, you go to this place here. Irish Special Prediction app. No, so I want to call it Irish Explainer app. I think it's much better for me. So I update this, I saved it again, and then come back here. You see it will tell you rerun. So you rerun it. So now you see we have rerun. The name have changed to Irish Explainer app. Then again, it doesn't make sense that you need to put your information. You know, as you are the one that creates the app or something. So in order for it to do that, I think I don't know if I put it here somewhere here. Let me see. Yeah, so you need to put a markdown here so that we can copy this one. So you can copy this information and say this is your creation. So because of it's your creation, you could paste it underneath it. So again, I think this should be okay. So you paste this one here. So now this talks about the author and everything, you know, our YouTube channel and all that. So you saved it again. So go back again to the app, you rerun it, see if that information will display. I think it should. Okay, so yeah, so you see about the author, so it actually puts all the information about the person that develops it. So that way you have, you know, show that this is your innovation, this is your work. So haven't done all this and it's running fine. So the next thing is we need to deploy this to the cloud format. But remember we said in order for you to do the deployment to the cloud, you need the requirement.txt file. So since the AI helps us to do that, so it should have an idea of the deployment.txt file. So we quickly come here and say write the requirements .txt file for me. So it will give us a requirement.txt file, which is this one here. So this one here. So we need to download this, which we have done. So go back to your download. Good. So cut. Now let's come here. We put it. So now we have our app, we have everything. Then we also have the model here. So now we want to upload it on Streamlit Cloud so it can run. So now let's see what happens. So the next thing we're going to do now is to go to our Streamlit. Good. So now we are now in the Streamlit Cloud. And in fact, even if you looked at the app here, you will see deploy. So once you click on this deploy, you see deploy now. So you see, however, it said the app is not connected to a remote GitHub. So because it's not connected, you won't be able to do deployment. So you need to connect it to the Streamlit Cloud. So now we come to GitHub. So let's go to GitHub and see. Okay, I think we open GitHub here. I'm actually divided. I'm thinking probably I put it in my own GitHub. And but it's fine. It's fine. It's not a problem. Anyway, let me still come back to where are we? Where is our GitHub right now? Okay, I think we open GitHub somewhere here. Good. So this is we have already created an a repository, a repo here called GitHub. So we need to add. So now you see add files. So now we want to add files here. So the disadvantage of the one here is that if I'm operating using the Git, I could push the folder, everything, and it just showed up in this. But now I have to do like everything sort of myself. But I don't think that's a problem. So if you click on this, you see it will tell you to choose the files that you need to. So I think the disadvantage of this is that you will have to create everything like yourself. So that's one of the disadvantage of this. So, however, I think we are still on track. So, explainer app. So yeah, so this is it. So this is our two scripts. So we clicked on them. So now we will load them. Good. So the next thing, once you load them, you need to commit. So you commit. Now, but remember, we haven't loaded the model itself. So we need to add the model as well. So load. So let's come to the model. And another interesting thing is you can be able to describe the file so your users could know what is happening. So you click on the model itself, so you load, and then you can commit. Okay, so now we have the model and everything that is here. So now let's connect it with the Streamlit that we have. So now we come to my app here, create. So you can see this create. Now the first thing is deploy now. So now we have this, but we don't have the repo. So we need to look for the repository that we have, so we could paste the URL of the repository. So good. So you could see it actually appeared. So we now have the repository of the URL. So this is the name of the app version that we have, the Python version that we have. If you remember, it also quickly creates a URL for us. So the next thing is, let's start the deployment. So see, it's very simple actually. So now it's cooking. Instead of deploying and all that. So once it's finished, we will see what happened. It's run successfully. So now it's going to look at the requirement files and everything. So it's running now. So okay, we had an error. We need to import Joblib. So I can't. The original mission is retract prevent data leak for so import Joblib. So okay, so let's go back to GitHub. Let's look at the requirement files. Okay. So Joblib is actually here, but I think the name of the requirement file was not what we supposed to call it. Okay. To rename. Okay, let me see. Edit this file and try requirement.text. Commit changes. Yes, commit. Okay, so Panda, Streamlit, line, Joblib. Okay, then let's look at the script. We also have Joblib. So let me see if those changes will happen. So let's come again. So we have updated this. So let's rerun again and see. Okay, so this app encounter a message. Okay. Load Scala. Oh, I didn't load the Scala. Okay, let me see if I. Okay, let's see. Scala. Okay. Okay, I didn't remember scaling, but it's fine. So what I'm going to do, I did scale the data actually. So that's the issue of the error we are encountering. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to scale. I'll do the training again and then I'll scale and save it. So we don't, like I told you guys, it's a very good practice to always scale your data set. So let's just go back again to the training testing split phase. Okay, good. So immediately we split it, we need to scale. So let's just copy the scale here. We don't need to come back to this phase. Okay. So can I use the scale standard scaler? Yes, I can. So let's go back here. And then let me copy this other phase. Great. Good. So now what I'm doing, I'm simply scaling it to retrain it. We won't really see any changes, but I need to do that. So now we have done the scaled. So instead of just train, this will always be scaled. This will be scaled. So I'm scaling it again to do the training. Also, the same thing with X will be scaled.
It's like the scaling is a very necessary requirement for the deployment or something.
No. Because I didn't scale during training, if I put the scaling now in the deployment, it will get an issue. I don't know if
We
you
have not
understand.
been scaling. We've not been scaling all along for training.
Yeah. So what we needed to do was to I'd update it and remove the scaling. But I feel it makes sense for us to do the scaling because it's a good practice. Because if you don't do it and you have issues of overfitting and the rest could arise. So it's always good just put the scaling, even when it's not a necessity. Like in this case, it's not a necessity, but it's a good practice. That's why I want us to keep doing
So
it.
why is the deployment knocking it, picking it that we didn't scale?
No, because I have already put it in the path. So if you
Oh,
see
okay.
yes, I've specified the path here for the scale. You see here.
Okay.
Oh, so
Okay.
it's picking that, and I feel it's better we just do it and dump it in the folder.
Okay. So the two
Yeah.
options, like either to remove the scaling part or to come and do the scaling.
Yes. Either we remove it or we just do it. So, but I think it's a very nice practice to just have it scale. So I'm going to save the scaling now. Hmm, Okay. Okay. I think it's loaded now. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back to the phase. Okay. Yeah. So I think we could save the scalar here. Let's go to the script. Let me see the name that we saved the scalar. So okay, so we saved it as scalar actually, so it's fine. So we could use the now let's see the app directory, which is here. So copy the directory, replace it here. So the scaling is very small. So so even if we use Joblib or Pickle, I think it shouldn't be a problem. I think Pickle is fine. So we could always dump it. So let's dump it now. Model part, yeah. So this should be fine. Wait, so explanatory model scalar. So now we will go back to the GitHub, which is here. So let's go back to model deployment, then add file. So let's look for the scaling. So the scalar is here, so we'll add it and see. So let's see, commit. Okay, so let's update again, see what happened. I'm still having the same error. Okay, so I think I'm having, okay, I see. I think I got where the error is coming from. I'm going to create a folder. I could have just, it's fine. Add. Okay, I'm coming. Let me just, I can't really remember those code. I think it's, oh. So let me add the folder directly. So I needed to create a folder directly in my GitHub. So what I'm going to do, no, I don't want to make new directory again. New repo. There should be a way to create a new folder. Okay, notwithstanding, I can still edit the script. So let me just remove that. Let's remove it. I think that's what is giving us. Oh, I need to edit. I wanted to create a new folder called models because that's what is causing this problem. But the problem is I've forgotten how to load it directly. You have to go through the what do I call it? The see the bash. Like you have to create and do like upload it directly from bash. And right now I don't think I want us to do that. We're already running short of time. So let's see if this should have handled the issue we are facing. Let me see what happens now. Okay, so yeah, this has actually handled it. So yeah. Yeah, so these have solved the problem of what we're having. So now our app has been deployed. So you can see it's going to be that series of but you have all this back and forth, but it's always fine. So again, we can try the prediction to see what happened. Okay, so yeah, so this one says it's the TOSA. You look at the explanation to see if it's running. Good. So this is running. So now you can be able to share this with your stakeholders and even your larger audience. So with that, your app is already up and running. You could just copy the this is the HTML files. You could try to open it from your end to see if it's opening. So try to open it in your browser and see and play around with it and see if it's fine. And then you could do the EDAs and you can make your prediction. So now I think with this we have come to the end of today's class. We also have other 2-3 apps that I wanted us to look at. The finance app, how you could detect fraud and all that. So we do have that one as well. I would have loved us to create, but not today again because we're really run short of time. But probably the next class we could look at that, and then we could look at other apps that you don't have to necessarily train the machine learning. before you create the app. So we can also look at that, just normal visualizations. How do you create